Okay, Bismillah. So inshallah, I just wanted to have a quick chat about your email,
Yes, please.
and also some of the comments from Jira, right?
Sure, yes.
So in terms of, um, let me share my screen for the benefit of the viewers of this recording, because we have some team members for testing that they will view this recording. But
Yeah, I can see your screen now. I'm seeing some nested screens, huh? Something.
yeah, okay, that
Okay, now it's
is
fine. Now it's fine.
now it's
It's
fine.
fine now. Yeah, fine now.
Okay, so this question first is weekly schedule. Once the admin creates a weekly schedule for a teacher on a specific day, the data should automatically appear on all of the dates for the same weekday. Uh, Question: this should be done only for the dates in the future, or should it apply to the dates in the past as well for many months? So basically, the idea, just to clarify again, inshallah, is that, so let's say if I created a shift for a teacher on the calendar,
Right.
let's look at the calendar. Okay. Um, so let's look at the weekly calendar. Okay. So let's say on Sunday, the teacher starts at 9 a.m., right?
Right.
And then she works, let's say, 9 to 2 p.m., okay? And then does, I don't know, sometimes we have teachers teaching in breaks, and then another session, another would be, let's say, from 4 p.m. to 8 p.m., for example.
Okay.
And then the same, it generally is the same schedule repeating day after day. So let's say Monday would be the same, Tuesday would be the same, Wednesday would be the same, and Thursday would be the same. So let's say this teacher is only working on from Sunday to Thursday, right?
Okay. Okay.
So what happens is the next week is the same schedule,
Okay.
right? And the week after is the same schedule. Just like, when you go to work, it's the same schedule Monday to
Yeah, yeah,
Friday,
yeah, right.
right?
I understand. Yeah, I understand. Yes, same
Now,
thing.
what happens is, in our case, for the Tanzil one-on-one Quran, the 1 hour slot. So like every hour in from 9 to 2, for example, and then let's say 3 to 7 is
Yeah.
treated as one slot. So 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. is one slot, 10 a.m. to 11 a.m. is one
Right.
slot, 11 a.m. to
Right.
12 a.m. is one slot,
Right.
likewise. And the same thing happens on Monday, the same thing happens on Tuesday, same thing happens on Wednesday, same thing happens on
Right.
Thursday, and on and on. So, uh, in terms of when it ends, we didn't think about it, but typically, like, alhamdulillah, some of our teachers are with us for 5, 6 years now.
Mashallah, mashallah. Okay.
So our retention rate's quite high. Generally, if a teacher leaves us, it's because actually they're misbehaving and we don't want them. We've had a
Okay.
couple of instances where teachers left us because they actually ran away with students. We don't mind, alhamdulillah, as long as people are studying Quran, that's what that matters. We're not here
Mashallah,
to make
mashallah. Very
money.
good. Very good. I
We're
like
not
to hear
here
this. Mashallah. Very
for
good.
money or anything. So,
Yes, mashallah. Very
alhamdulillah,
good.
as long as people are benefiting from our teachers that
Yes,
we
mashallah.
train and prepare, alhamdulillah, no problem. We don't mind.
Very good. It's
It's just our policies. Teachers have to stay with us for at least 3 years. That's the policies, because we need to get some return on investment, because we invest a
right, right,
lot in our teachers, so we need to get some return on investment.
right.
Otherwise,
I understand.
afterwards they're free to go. But alhamdulillah, most teachers stay with us, right? We have female teachers that are with us for 6 years now, right? Alhamdulillah. And they used to work for $100 a month, just so you know, until recently. Now they make maybe $200 a month.
Okay.
But mashallah, they work 5 days a week, 6 hours a day, 7 hours a day, mashallah, right? So our teachers are good people. That's why, alhamdulillah, like, we do this. But anyway, so in terms of perpetuity, how long does it continue? I would say you can, if you need to assign a date or time, you can put maybe 10 years, for example. However, the point is, typically, if we make changes, the changes happen perpetually from there on. So let's say,
Okay, okay, okay. I understand. I
this
understand.
teacher has this 9-hour shift, for example, right?
Right,
So now this teacher is, has, for example, um, is pregnant all of a sudden, for example, right? She can't work long hours anymore until she delivers baby, and so then she'll work only 4 hours a day, for example. So then
right,
we will try to move her students from her schedule, and this is something, inshallah, we'll have to
right, right, right,
have as an admin feature that to do,
right,
inshallah.
right.
Um, and then we'll move our students to other teacher, and then we'll give her only 4 hours schedule, for example. And then when we make that change, from that week, from that day onward, her schedule is for those 4 hours only. So the schedule gets as it gets updated, it becomes for perpetuity. Does that make
Yes, I
sense?
understand. I understand.
So we don't
Okay,
have like a,
Alhamdulillah. Yes, Alhamdulillah. Yeah, actually, we were thinking in the same line. I just
okay,
my questions were to understand, like what you just
yeah,
said. Alhamdulillah. Yeah, we just wanted understanding. That's why I asked
okay,
that question. Alhamdulillah, we got a good design. Alhamdulillah. What we are going to do, I will explain in inshallah in 2 minutes. Inshallah, I'll try to explain it in 2 minutes.
yeah,
So what we are going to do is, see, I was only worried about how much data we need to generate. I mean, do we need to generate all the time slots data for 10 years, 5 years? That is
I
what I
don't
was
think
worried
so.
about. But Alhamdulillah, now we have actually coming with a good design where we will not store anything. We will not store anything. What we will store is only the weekly schedule of the teacher.
Yes,
Only the
yes,
weekly schedule. Whatever the actual weekly schedule for today, whatever that you have entered,
yeah,
that from that day onwards it will start. Whatever date it is, it will start. From
yeah,
that day onwards it will start. And whenever we show the teacher availability, we use that schedule to generate an sorry, in the memory, actually only in
yeah,
memory, not in the database. So only to show on the calendar, we generate some data so that it can be shown that available, and we
yeah,
look at the students actual data of the students, actual data of the student enrollment, and we will mark all those as not available with the student name and other things. Whatever the slots already taken, we
yeah,
will mark them as taken. You understand? That is
exactly.
what,
Yeah.
inshallah, we're going to come with. So, inshallah, there is no issue. And
So
on this regard, I will ask you a question on this regard. Yeah,
yeah.
please tell me what is
So
the
the reason
tell me.
I wanted to explain to you the reason why we asked for a calendar view and the Google Calendar integration is
Yeah.
because sometimes we need to, from an administrative perspective, so for example, put a training schedule for a teacher, for example, right? So the idea is for the teachers as well, when they come into this system, we make this like an interactive system for us to manage. And inshallah, the future of the system is going to be that we will make HR module, inshallah, in phase 2, 3, inshallah, of this system. We'll make HR modules to manage our teachers in the system. So their salaries,
Oh,
quality
mashallah, very good, very good.
control, because we have a
Fantastic.
very rigorous quality control process. So every month, four basically four random classes get
I know.
listened to, and then they get graded, and the teacher's salary is connected to it, right? So we
Okay.
will move on some of those activity, inshallah, in the future. That's the hope, to the system, so that we have good visibility. Teachers also have visibility to their performance, right? And then we, in the future, when we, because part of the teacher's profile, you'll see, is eventually is that they'll have resources. So teachers, we have continuous development program for our teachers, so they will have assignments, for example, to finish by this day. Okay,
Okay.
they have to sometimes. So one thing we make them do is, for example, to improve their English language skill, we make them watch YouTube videos and write reports on them, right?
Okay.
In English, for example, Islamic videos like lectures or some classes and things like that. So things like that, So we want to bring in those activities into the system slowly, and that's the reason why we wanted a calendar. Because with the calendar, we would want to be able to create
Right.
events for the teachers, okay, and and then like assign them tasks and things like that, right? So those are some of those things eventually that we want to do, inshallah.
Okay.
It's not a function yet right now. For example, right now when I make an event, I can't select that I want it for this teacher or all of those people. And that was the reason why, again, the Google Calendar option we thought about, because with Google Calendar, you could basically select on the person, for example, that is, so when you create an event in Google Calendar, you know, right?
Yeah,
Is that when you're creating an event, you can select who are the participants and things like that. So it shows up in their
correct.
calendar
Correct,
as well,
Iman.
right? And that was the idea as well for that kind of integration, is to for us to be able to add events. So when we go to, let's say, create events, this is not where I'm going to create events. Um, Hold on. Okay, yeah. So when I go to create event, for example, I would want to be able to add, inshallah, and this is something we said will be in the backlog in the future. We'll add some of the other fields,
Right,
which
right,
is like adding a specific user of the system or something like that.
right,
So,
right.
so that it shows up onto their calendar, right? And then also adding a session. So, for example, if they're on holiday or something like that, those things we want to bring in the
Yeah, yeah,
future.
sure,
So
sure, of
that's the
course, of course.
purpose for this calendar. But
I understand.
essentially, from a practical perspective, this is what teachers will be seeing every week.
Right, right.
This is what they will be
Right, I
seeing.
understand. Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah, I understand. Alhamdulillah, yeah, I think we are on the same page right now on the calendar. Only thing I want to add is,
Yes,
Auzubillahi minash shaitanir rajim. The only thing I wanted to say is when the student enrolls,
yes,
basically this is I'm asking this question from another point of view, from the student
yes.
point of view.
Go ahead.
When the student enroll, when we allocate a time slot to the student,
Yes,
and can I safely assume we allocate the time slot only for that month? Is it? Can I safely assume? Is it a
yes,
good assumption? It's a good
yes,
assumption.
yes.
Okay, because we don't want to allocate the time slot for next 4 years or 3 year, 1 year, two.
Yes,
We don't want to for longer period because the student may cancel, may or something might happen. So for that month, we give him and we stop. And again on the first of the next month and the first of every month, we
yeah.
again automatically allot the same time slots. And after the payment is successful, and
So
we first try to process the payment. If it is successful, then we allot the time slots. What do you think?
yeah,
Please tell me.
so my
Please tell me.
my my answer would be whatever is less technically demanding in terms of options for you to implement, and whatever is going to make less has the potential of making less errors. So, for
Yeah, yeah,
example,
I
if
understand.
it's easier and less, if it's going to be less buggy, that you assign them perpetually until they cancel the class or we remove them, that's fine. However, if it's going to be less buggy that you make it every month, they get assigned the timing. But the issue is sometimes students' payments don't come through, right? And
Yeah.
uh, and we do give them a grace period of
Yes,
seven
yes. I
days
know.
or something
7 days,
like that,
yes.
right?
Right, right, right.
So let's say I paid for this month, but next month my credit card expiry date changed. Okay, for example,
Right.
now I need to give a new credit card. So until I put a new credit card, can't I take classes? So our policy is that we allow the student to take classes. So that means we actually want them in the system unless
Right.
they cancel it or we cancel. Technically, so far it's been like that. Their timing, just like the teacher, is permanent unless something happens to it. It's like Newton's first law of motion, right? An
Right,
object
right, right.
in in
Continues to
stationary
stay in its
positions.
motion unless and otherwise an external force acting on.
Exactly, right? So
Right.
that's basically what our policy has been so far, is that teacher and the students, their schedule is fixed unless something is done to it. So unless a
Right.
student cancels or unless we remove the student, so that then the student's schedule is moved. So I think maybe so it might be easier to just make it permanent,
No,
and
no,
then
but
yeah,
actually we have a problem, right? We cannot say, which is what I'm trying to explain you, right? So that's what I wanted to ask you from the business requirements point of view. What I'm saying makes sense or
sure,
not? That's what I'm asking. See, actually, you need to validate all my questions. Number one, from the business requirements point of view,
yeah,
and we validate based on the performance and optimal
yeah,
implementation
yeah,
and all that point of view. We'll try to implement
yes,
it.
Yes.
Basically, the question is, see, we already agreed that it's no point in no point in generating actual physical data for the time slots of the teachers for next 4 years, 10 years. There's no point that we
Yeah.
already agreed, right?
Yeah.
That we already in sync. We don't need to generate. All we have is the weekly schedule for the teacher, and that's it. And that's it. But we need to record the actual business events. Actual business events needs to be recorded. Like actual business event in this case is actually student enrolling.
Yes.
Student enrollment for a particular time slot of a teacher that should be recorded in the database. It will be
Yes.
recorded for the teacher time slot as not available or busy, whatever.
Yeah.
He's been taken, he's been enrolled with the student. He or she is engaged with the student.
Yes.
Similarly, for the student time slot also, basically what I'm saying is we only create data for the actual business events. That is number one I'm trying to say. Number
Yes.
two is basically we do not want to generate the time slots for a longer period. That's just only for that current month. Is it okay? I was asking from business requirement point of view.
So
Is it okay?
it can be okay. Let
It
me
means
ask.
when you will not see, you will not see. If you go to the calendar, you
Yeah.
will see for only 1 month the teacher is scheduled with that student. You will not see for the next month. You will not see. That's
So
what I'm trying to
what
say.
happens, for example, for the next month, if my payment doesn't go through?
Next, yeah, fine. Which we will use your business logic. The business logic
Okay.
says what? We try for the payment on the day one, on the first
Yeah.
day of the month.
Yeah.
We try to process all the pending payments. If it is fails, that's okay. We give them a grace period of 7 days. Whatever the business logic says, we follow that
Yeah.
same thing.
Okay. And
But what I'm trying to say is,
so
we generate. We don't generate. Yes,
when you
please.
give that grace period, will the
Yeah.
system create the slots for the next month?
Yeah, of course, of course, of course. But
Okay.
yes, of course, it will. It will. We try the payment. What I'm saying is
Yeah.
that the sequence is the sequence of
It gets
processing
renewed every
steps.
month.
The first thing on the processing step is to do the payment through Stripe. If the payment successful or not, anyway, we are going to create the time slots. But we mark those time slots as what payment made and payment successful or failed. We'll go and mark those
Yeah.
time slots with those flags or whatever you can call it,
Yeah.
flags, and we retry those payments according to the business logic, business rules you are defined already.
Yeah.
Alhamdulillah. So basically, what I was just trying to say is, we generate
So,
only for that month. If you
so
want to
from our
extend this
perspective,
period, I can extend this period if you want. 1 or 2 months, 3 months, I can extend this period.
okay. So from our perspective, the most important thing is we want the students to continue their classes.
Yeah, that is fine. We will continue.
And so
Sure, he
that
will continue.
we give them the chance to make payments
Yeah,
or
yeah,
not
of
make
course, of
payments,
course.
right?
He will
Inshallah.
continue.
And
He will
then
keep continuing until he basically cancels the class, whatever the business
yeah,
logic for the cancellation when we are going to implement
yeah,
later, whenever. So he will cancel. We will cancel only when he cancels. When the student cancels or whatever the business logic says, business
mm,
rules says. So we will not, from our side, from implementation, we will not. We will assume these classes are perpetual unless and otherwise something happens basically. The
mm,
student cancels them or some other business rule says that, like that.
okay,
So basically, what I was just trying to tell you is emphasis one more time is, if you look at the calendar for the teacher, you will see the time slots occupied only for that month. You will not see for the next month. You will see them empty as
mm,
available. Again, on the first of October, if you go and see, again you will see all the slots for that month are been taken by those students, right? And you will,
okay,
if you scroll to the next month, November, you will see nothing. You will see them all empty basically. All empty means
mm,
you will see the actual data, but it will all be available. All the
mm.
time slots looks like all. Is it okay? I was asking you.
So for the teacher, right? You mean?
Yeah, for the teacher point of view, yes. The teacher.
So and
Is this how you want, or you want to show the student occupied with the teacher
yeah. So
perpetually? That's what I was asking, basically.
um, I mean, I don't know what's easier and
The
optimal
easier
for
is
you.
to show them available, because we don't know, right? We don't know, because there is always an unknown element here. In your
Okay.
experience, you can tell. In your experience, you can tell how long a student stays typically with you. In this Quran one-on-one
Yeah.
classes,
So
Quran one-on-one classes.
So
How long is student typically stays with you?
typically,
6 months, 1 year, two
yeah.
months,
So most of our students have stayed with us for more than 6 months, right?
Yeah,
So
more than 6 months, right? But not for
yeah,
years, right? But not for
no, no,
years.
like 2 to 3 years
For,
maximum. But yeah, most of
yeah.
us, yeah.
But actually, what is the normal case? What is usually what happens? Usually is like what
So
is the
one
average?
one to
What is the
two
average?
years.
1 to 2 years is the usual, huh?
Yes.
Is the average. Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
fine. Fine, Alhamdulillah. Yeah, if you want to use that logic, we are fine. If you want to use that logic, generate the times when the student enrolls into a class, we also have the ability to generate the time slots for that student for 1 year if you want. We can do that if you want to.
Yeah. So I think maybe we
In
do
that
something for
case,
like 6 months, not even 1 year. I think just six
yeah, we
months.
can do that. Yeah, we can
Yeah.
also do for 6 months. Yeah, we can do for 6 months, inshallah.
Yeah.
We can do that.
Inshallah.
So that
So
for 6 months, you will see that student is occupied with that teacher for 6 months, and then
un-
you will see the time slots are all freed up and
yeah.
not available.
Yeah.
Unless after 6 months we have you need to put something on the business logic or business rules when that time slot should continue and how probably with a payment or whatever that you need to tell us that.
So remember Newton's first law of motion, an object in its place stays as it is. So the idea
Yeah,
is the same, right? So
yeah, sure, it
unless the
is.
student cancels or someone else takes it.
Yes, nothing else
So
happens
for the
in
teacher,
both cases. In either case, same
yeah,
thing. In either case, both.
exactly. Right? So for the teacher, it remains the same, like in terms, unless
Exactly.
we
In
make
both cases,
the
it's the same thing. Only we're talking
exactly,
about the presentation and view. We're talking about only
exactly,
about the presentation and view. What do you want to see on the screen on the calendar?
yeah.
Do you want to see the teacher
So
is occupied with the student for 6 months
yeah, 6 months
for
is
those
good, I
time
think.
slots, or only for that current month? That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, so I think 6 months is fine. Like,
Okay, fine.
yeah,
Alhamdulillah. That's it. Alhamdulillah, I got what I
and
wanted.
6 months is not too much data, right? It's not
Yeah, that
overall.
is, yeah, 6 months is also too much of data because actually what happens is
Okay.
when you expand, when you grow,
Yeah.
the system will not be scalable. If we have too much data, then we need to, it will automatically create a lot of problems. So basically,
Uh,
from the designer point of view, we need to look at those things because
so
it's like
so
a
what do you think
time
is good?
slot. Because,
What do you,
because this time slot is like for every hour.
yeah.
So there is the potentially when you look at from teacher point of view, there could be 8 hours per day. So multiplied by 5 days in a week, 40. So basically, it will just keep on expand. The data will be too much for
Hmm.
6 months, for 1 year, 2 years. But I think 6 months is okay, inshallah. 6 months should be
Okay.
okay, inshallah.
I
But
mean,
actually,
if
yeah,
3 months is better, you can do 3 months. It's just like
yeah,
I think, you
yeah,
know,
we can do 3 months, inshallah. We will do.
yeah. So
We will
maybe
take
just
3
do
months,
three
inshallah.
months, and then
Okay,
it
inshallah.
will repeat. Like
Yeah, it
it
will
will.
automatically repeat. It will
Yeah.
automatically repeat, inshallah.
Okay. Right,
We will
inshallah.
have some logic to repeat, inshallah.
Okay, I had a question. So
Please, go
you
ahead.
see this session here, 12 a.m. to
Yeah,
1 p.m.
yeah.
Sorry, not this one. So what? So something interesting is that this one is 12 a.m. to 1 p.m. Um, so this is actually like 12 hours, right?
Yeah, yeah, correct, correct,
Yeah.
correct. You're right. You're
So
right.
when you do something
Quite
like
close.
that, um, does the system create
The time starts.
automatically
Or that is
that,
correct. Yes,
that
you're right.
many hours, like
Yes, correct,
individual
correct.
hours, or they're
Yes, if
just
it doesn't, yes, yes, you're right. If it doesn't cross the day, actually, if it doesn't cross the day, you're right. Yes, it will. The logic we are having currently is we look at the start time and end time,
okay?
and we look at actually how many hours in between the start hours and end hours,
So
end hour, ending time, and we take the number of hours and we create time slot for each hour, basically.
so here's my question, right? Because on
Yeah.
this calendar view, I'm seeing
No, right now
just
you will not see that. Yes, right now you
yeah,
will see it buggy.
I'm seeing one
And
slot,
buggy.
right? I'm not
Yeah,
seeing 12
yeah.
slots. You know what
Right
I
now it's
mean?
not implemented. Yes, right now. Yes.
Okay, okay,
So
fine.
actually, you pointed this out only in the last meeting. Remember, right? Only in the last meeting we
Yeah,
were
yeah,
started discussing on this
yeah, yeah,
issue. On
yeah,
this issue, actually.
yeah,
So, Alhamdulillah, we did some work. That is why all these questions were coming.
yeah.
So we did some. We try to basically ponder over that issue and
Yeah.
did some design work. That is why all these questions are coming.
Yeah, alhamdulillah. By the way, I have no problem with all the questions, just so you know,
Yeah, yeah, sure, sure.
because I know from experience that this is one of the most critical element, the billing and the scheduling and the
Right.
matching of the scheduling. So and the prorating and all that calculation. So this is like the most critical portion of the
Alhamdulillah.
entire system. So I don't mind. In fact, like any question or whatever, like I don't mind. So inshallah, that's fine. And then so we'll go back to the email.
Yeah, please go back to the
The
email
time
discussion.
zone
Yes.
selection, I will get back to you. I'm gonna have a discussion with the team, and then I'll get back to you, inshallah.
Sure,
Okay,
sure,
on that one.
sure.
And then he said, oh, okay. So this one is about the design.
Fonts. Yeah, the fonts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So from I remember when I looked at it. Let me just try again. Just give me 1 second. I think I'll just show you. The system takes a little bit
Yeah,
of
you might
time.
compare the design versus what we have implemented and see if there is any difference.
Yeah.
If there
So
is any difference,
here,
let us know. We'll do that.
so here's the. I'll just go to the design now.
Yeah, yeah. Please go open the design. Yes.
Uh, it's funny. My wife just found out there is a marriage matrimonial app on my phone. So a friend
Okay.
of
Why?
mine
Why?
is launching.
Uh,
A friend of mine
okay.
is launching a matrimonial app. Asked me to
Okay.
test it.
Sure. Okay.
So she's like, "Excuse me, what is this app?" Okay.
Make sure, man. Make sure. Don't. I know how that works. Alhamdulillah.
Well, I can always tell her I'm 75% single. I have four. I can marry four. Just have only one wife now, right? Okay.
Okay.
Right.
Alhamdulillah.
Okay, so let's look at this, inshallah. So this is the design file. Let me try to log in with a
Let's do
random
it.
account I make. Yeah. Oh, sorry. I have to go to sign in. Akhi, any idea why this server is so slow?
I have no idea.
Take so
I have no
long to
idea. We
load.
can. We can work on that if
But
you want.
anyway, we don't have to do it now.
Yeah, we can see. Yeah, we can see what is causing the delay. Actually, we have a couple of tools we can troubleshoot if you want. I thought for you it will be faster. I thought because you are in Canada, the server is in Canada. I thought for you it should
No,
be fast.
no,
For us, I thought it's for
so
us it's slow.
strange. Yeah, it's very strange. I don't understand. Look,
You know
it's
what? We can run some tools and see, and where is the time it take. See the networking or the database or the code. We will see, inshallah. We will put some. We'll put some troubleshooting. We will run some tool, inshallah. On that. So on the
see like
production,
still
actually, how you're
loading.
planning to on the production, how you're planning to host this? Is it on a cloud or like this? I
Uh,
mean, or on the Tanzil server or on a cloud or something?
I don't know. I don't know. You guys are the
Okay.
experts. You tell us what's the best
Yeah,
place for us to
Hussam has some
host.
idea. We'll talk to Hussam later, inshallah.
There's some suggestion on Heroku or AWS, but I think AWS is too expensive. Okay. So I go continue.
Yeah, this arrow marks, so you're right. Actually, we missed it. We missed the arrow marks. That's our
Okay.
mistake. We agree on that.
So
Single day, yes, but a single day. Yeah.
so here is so I'll just I'll just toggle back. So for example, you see single date.
Design.
Look
Yeah.
at the size of the text
Yeah,
here,
yeah, I saw it. Sorry.
and
Yeah,
then
okay. Go ahead.
look at this. And
Uh-huh.
it says, look at this.
Okay, okay, okay. Okay, can you switch back again?
Okay, sorry. So let me
Is it not
just.
like zoomed? It's not like zoomed up or something? Your
No, it's not. So
screen is not zoomed up or anything?
here, like even if I zoom in, so this is the maximum. You see the page width here,
Yeah, yeah.
right? So let's say this is the center, right?
Okay.
And then let me bring this next screen. You see, like almost the same. You see. So
Yeah.
in fact, this is zoomed in even more than the
Yeah,
page.
yeah. Correct, 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 correct. Yeah, yeah, I can see, I can see. I can see, yeah, I can see there is some difference. I can see a difference.
Right? So
Yeah,
the
yes, yes.
you know what
Okay, I
I'm
can see the
saying?
difference. I can
Like
see the difference.
the
Yes, I can see. Yeah,
relation, like if you look at the relation, the logo and this text size,
yeah, yeah. Yeah.
you see, like so this is like the normal view.
Z. Wait, logo, you don't see much difference there. On the, that's
So
how we
this is
compared actually.
so
That
this is the
starts at
zoom,
that,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, and then so for example, there it starts here. If you look,
It starts at the
uh,
curved point. Start at the curved
yeah,
point.
curve point, and then
Curved point ends at Z, almost at the Z. Z, almost at the Z it
yeah,
ends. Here it ends a little bit
yeah.
before
So
Z.
this is
Yeah,
not
a little
that
bit
bad.
small.
Yeah. So this is a little bit zoomed in, right? So if we zoom out, but look at here. So the font sizes here look bigger.
Times on it, huh? Times, yes. Times I
Yeah.
agree. Yeah,
See,
times I
times
agree.
is look at the
Yeah,
line,
times I agree. Yeah, yeah, times I agree.
lines, right?
Yeah, times I agree. You're right. I agree. I agree
Yeah.
on that. But anyway, we are planning to remove the time zone. I mean, we
Yeah,
might remove, right?
we may. But and then
Okay,
if you look at that, if you look at the
yes, but
text
that's
for
good.
Sunday, Monday, for
Yeah,
example, right?
yeah, that's
I'm
also a little bit
okay.
bigger.
I'm okay with it if
Okay.
in relation all of it looks fine. But the issue is now, you look at this font here for Tuesday is bigger than almost the same size as
Yeah,
single
yeah,
day,
yeah,
so
yeah,
it's
yeah.
not
Correct, correct,
matching up,
correct, correct.
right?
Correct.
You
I
know what
agree.
I'm
I agree.
saying?
I agree. I
Yeah.
agree. I agree.
So
Alhamdulillah.
so that's
Sure, sure,
basically
inshallah.
what it.
Exactly, inshallah. We will
Inshallah.
exactly, inshallah.
And then the
What we will
next
do
one,
actually, we will increase the fonts of the single day a little bit bigger. That may, and we'll see how it looks. And we'll also involve Faisal. Faisal has a good eye on these things, on the fonts, and he has a good eye on this.
okay,
We'll also go over Faisal on this. Inshallah.
okay. And the next one is the Skype ID. Yes, I was sorry, I forgot to put that as a comment
Okay.
about the Skype ID. Inshallah, you can add it. And
Okay.
what
Okay.
I would
Just
say is,
approve. Yeah. Just give us an approval on the email if you have not done already.
yeah, I
If
will
you're
do
not.
that inshallah. So where I will do it, I will say is in terms of where to add it,
Yeah.
um, is here. Let me just so just waiting for profile to load. Uh, yeah. So here, what's your age group, right? For example, and then before these two questions, I would say just here. So after the location, right?
Right. Right.
Um, to put it here. Inshallah.
Okay.
So
Alhamdulillah.
the same
Yes.
thing,
Yes.
Ahmed. What's your Skype
After the
ID?
location. Yes. I
Yeah,
understand.
and as a help text, right? So I'll just put it inshallah on the email as a help
Right. Sure.
text. It should say, okay, in case you don't have it, you can update it later, right?
Okay.
From
Okay.
your
Inshallah.
student profile. So in case they don't have one, they can make one and then they can update it later.
Okay.
Okay. All right, inshallah.
Very good.
And I think there were some comments
On the email, right?
on Jira,
Something
right?
on the Jira, yes, the Jira.
Yeah.
One on that descriptions, on the
Yeah. So
learning goals, descriptions on the learning goals. I did not see anything you added. I saw only you fixing certain text. Is it correct or
here,
go
so
back?
the learning goals, I updated this. I'm not sure if you saw this on 166, right? Because
Yeah.
that's part of it. And so I updated the text for the student, right?
Okay. Okay.
And then I said corresponding values in the teacher profile as well.
Okay, very good. Okay. I put a comment for that.
Yeah.
Is it available? Is it appearing for you?
Hold on.
If you can go down on the same on the same one. Don't you see my
I
comment?
haven't refreshed it, I think so. Let me just
Okay, yeah, yeah.
refresh it. Okay, so my computer is now acting up.
You'll see my comment on response to this.
Okay, let me just load it on my phone. I have the
Okay.
Jira app on my phone, so let me just go
Or I
there.
can share my or I can share my screen. No problem. Sure, yeah, yeah.
Okay, it's step one. Okay. Okay, you say I didn't see any new additions. I only see that you have
Wait,
above.
wait.
Yes.
Let me check.
Yeah.
What is that actually? It is LZT 166. Okay, sorry. Okay. Yeah, yeah.
166. Yeah.
I see the long one. Yeah, 166. Yeah, I have added a comment on 166.
Yeah. Yeah. I see the
I don't know why
comment.
you're not seeing it. Let me
No,
share my
it
screen
just
here.
my screen is taking forever to load, and my computer is being a little slow.
Okay, let me share my
Uh,
screen if you don't mind.
yeah. 1 second.
Right. Let me know if you're seeing my screen.
1 second.
So this is the comment you entered. What you see in the first half of it is what you entered, right?
Yeah.
Right, you can see that, right? And down below is what I entered.
I don't see your screen yet. Just one
I
second.
don't see my screen. Okay, sorry.
Yeah, I can see the comment on Jira.
I can see the
It
comment on the
says
Jira. Okay, fine.
I only see that you have removed all of the above and some
Yeah,
updates to the existing description text. Yes.
yeah.
So that's basically what I have updated in
Okay,
terms
very
of
good.
the text anyway. And
Sorry, yeah,
then
we will
you
do
said,
that. Yeah, we will do your change, no problem. Yeah, we will do your change.
yeah, and then you said currently we have as follows: what student sees, what teacher sees, improved teacher. Yeah, okay. And then, so now we'll remove all of the above and replace it current student that you mentioned in your earlier comment. Yes, inshallah. And then I think you had on 167, you had some comments. Okay,
Let me go there. Okay. 167, I pulled it, and am I going down for the comments?
yes,
Yeah, 167. Few points from last night's review meeting of the feedback on your comments. Yeah.
yeah.
We may need to discuss your comment hash phone number. Currently, we are showing the calendar monthly what, even the calendar day teacher, which means it will show first block available for. Okay. I'm just explaining this how
So
many
my point was
vaccine
about
can
the
start for teacher.
slot changing colors, for example. So here's something that was a request from our team as well, which is, for example, the slots are green when they're all available, right? And
Okay.
then when they become unavailable, then they're red. So this is for the classes, right? As a
Okay.
default, if we could do that. And then, and so that's one thing. And then when a new student comes, for example, right? A
Yeah,
new
new
student,
student. Yes. Yes.
yeah.
No
So
student. Tell me.
maybe we show the new student in a different color, right? For let's say I don't know, first week or something like that, so that the
Where you will show.
teacher.
Where you will show them. Where? Which date you will show them.
So on the calendar, so let's say if I am registering today, I'm a brand new student, right?
Okay.
So my teacher is, let's say, Ahmed. My teacher Ahmed has already few students, other students. So my class is, let's say, after 2 days, right?
Okay.
Now, what we're saying is from today, from the day that I register until 1 week or so, until the first class date for that student, we should
Okay.
show, if we can, that this is a new
Okay.
class,
Okay.
right?
Okay.
And so it can be by changing, putting a new color. So for example, a different color than, so when the class is taken, it's, let's say, red, and in red, let's say you have the name of the student, blah blah blah. However, when it's a brand new student, maybe it could be, let's say, purple, orange, some other color, so
I,
that the teacher, when he's looking at his schedule, the green means those slots are available, red means I have students then, and then if it's a different color, then
and
okay, that one is a new
and
student.
actually, you show it to all the teachers or some particular teachers?
No, so
Which
if
teacher you show it?
so basically, if I signed up with teacher Ahmed, it will only
So
show
you
up in
learn, right?
teacher Ahmed's
See, so
schedule.
basically, we are talking about the student just registering, or
Yeah.
we are talking about student registered and updates the profile and selects and enrolls and basically
Yeah,
selects a
yeah,
time
yeah,
slot.
yeah. Sorry, that's what I mean. Sorry, forgive me for the confusion of the terms. What I mean is, if I've just when the student makes payment, selected the times and everything, completed the profile, and then made payment, that's when the
Oh, after
system.
the make payment. So okay, okay,
Yes.
okay, okay, okay.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
after the make payment, but just since it's like a free class,
Yeah.
right? First free class, so we
Exactly.
are showing in a
Exactly.
different color. We're
Yeah.
showing a different color.
Yes.
After the actual class starts, which is the paid classes, we'll show in a
Yeah.
different color. That's what you're saying, right?
Exactly. After the first
Okay,
week,
okay.
it can be just a different color.
No, 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 it's clear. No, it's clear. I was
Yeah.
thinking new student means the ones who are registered, not enrolled. That's what I was thinking
No,
wrongly.
no.
Okay, I understand.
So teachers will not have any access to anyone who is not enrolled.
Not enrolled. Okay, I understand. No, no, I understand. Okay, Alhamdulillah, Alhamdulillah.
Okay.
Which
And
is very
then
good.
and then my
Yes.
second comment was about um, yeah. So sorry. The part of the other thing was, the mouse over part, which is, when and this is obviously in weak view. If we're doing
Yeah,
mouse
yeah, yeah.
over
Yes,
something,
correct. Yes,
yeah. So
we can do that. We can do that.
yeah, if we could show, you said on weekly view you could do it, on
Yeah, yeah,
monthly
yeah, of
view we
course.
couldn't, which is
Yeah,
understandable, no
yeah,
problem.
yeah, yeah. Yeah. Monthly view,
Um,
yeah. The monthly view we can show the name, but may not be the full name. We can show only the first name or something because monthly view will not allow you. You don't have a lot of room there. You
yeah,
don't have a lot of
exactly,
room there.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah,
So number two, already discussed about the new
yeah. We
student.
already discussed this.
Okay, and clicking on the name. Oh yeah, so the clicking on the name of the student will make the teacher or admin to go to student profile. So the idea is for the teacher.
To see.
So
Okay.
the student name is actually linkable to the student profile. So once we have the student profile set up, inshallah, then basically teacher can just click on the link, right? For example, from the
Yeah, yeah.
calendar, and then go to the student profile
Okay.
directly. So that's something we wanted. So this is becomes very handy for administration as well, especially when looking at this teacher's profile and calendars and things like that. And the last thing is when we integrate the classroom, right? If it's possible, from in the mouse over for there to be a short link uh, to um, to the to the um, to the classroom URL, for example, if it's
Okay.
possible, right? Again,
Say again. Again. Sorry. Sorry.
from the calendar,
Yeah, from the
right?
calendar. Yeah. Yeah.
So like, on that mouse over, the teacher sees, for example, like
Yeah. Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
a
Yeah. Correct.
box,
Yeah.
right? It has the
Yeah. It's a
student
box.
name, which is a
Yeah.
link as
Correct.
well,
Correct.
and then let's say student's gender, some location, for
Right.
example,
Right. Right. Right.
and then it's a classroom link, right?
Yeah.
For example,
Yeah.
and that classroom link, teacher can click there to go to the classroom with that student.
Yeah. 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 Fine. Alhamdulillah.
Okay, so inshallah,
Yeah.
that's
It's
for the future.
possible, inshallah. Yeah. Yeah. So that's possible, inshallah.
And then I think the number three is for multiple schedules. Please add two text links in orange, like the one in single schedule under the proceed to checkout. So number three was about you understand that, right? After the underneath the
Yes, of
button to
course.
add
Yeah, of course.
the links.
Yes, 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 of course. Yeah, I understand that.
And the font size and the stuff is the same thing as
We discussed. We
Yeah.
also need the capability to set the time zones. It'll be nice with the teacher schedule. Okay. We'll look into it. Maybe
So
possible.
this is basically again going back to
Yeah.
the whole Google Calendar part, and why we wanted some of those features is because
Yeah.
in the future, right now all our teachers are by default in Egypt. However, for example, we're actually thinking about hiring someone in Malaysia, and I was just talking to the team the other day, and then uh, starting some activity there to basically on a trial basis. So we want to have the option of making the slots in a different
Yeah. Yeah.
time
Yeah.
zone
Fine. Fine.
other
Fine. I
than just
understand.
one
I
time
understand.
zone.
I understand.
Uh,
Yeah. Actually, I talked to a developer. Actually, it is possible already. It is possible.
yes.
So yeah, I talked to a developer already on that. It is possible to do, inshallah. So we will try to have it, inshallah.
Okay.
Right.
And then
Yes, please.
last one is about the search result, right?
Yeah.
So in terms of the search result, the only thing is sometimes we have students, and this is a question that I wanted to ask you actually. So you see the options. So it's basically in relation to the learning goals of the student, right? So sometimes they're coming on with
Right.
a different learning goal and something like that, and we're trying to obviously accommodate. And as we grow, some of these results, sorry, some of these options and matching things might have to be changed. And I don't know how we're going to deal with it from a matching criteria, updating the database. I think that will
Yeah.
require custom development work in the future. But for now, we wanted the option for the one-on-one Quran class because some of our teachers can teach detailed tafsir, for example, and some students sometimes come for that, right? And they want to study detailed tafsir. Although this is not an area of specialty for us, however, we do, for example, want to provide that as an option for some students. So that's why the idea is, if in case by chance someone, for example, selects that option as well, the idea is for us to show other teachers um, uh, in case we don't find a matching one, and just to inform the students that we couldn't find a specialist in tafsir for you, blah blah blah. Here the rest of the teachers, and they're able to teach everything else, for example. So this is just a requirement, just an
Yeah,
idea.
yeah. What I'm trying to say is
Yeah.
the text you are suggesting, but
Yes.
exactly that text may not be possible because of the different combinations. There can be many combinations, right? Some might have some teachers may be available with advanced the tajweed only, some with only
Yes.
memorization, with any
Okay.
combination are possible.
Yeah.
So basically, the text you are suggesting
Okay. I see.
may not be the one. It may not be possible to bring exactly that text. So basically,
Okay. So
we
you
will
want
do
a more
this and we
general.
will come up with
You want a more
and
general
more
text.
general, or you can list like a list. You can it can be delimited as some kind of list you can put. Like we don't have actually what you are looking for, but we have these.
Ah,
You can put the learning goal, comma learning goal, something like that.
okay.
So what
Uh,
is available in the database we can show, and
okay.
yeah, we can show like that. Yes, sure.
Okay.
But the
I see. I
language,
see your comment.
I just think possible. That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Like for example, you're saying and help you improve reading. That may not be possible. And help you improve it because we don't know improve reading. Maybe there or not. May even not be there.
Okay. I see.
Logically, it's possible. Logically, it's possible that that teacher is not available or not matching the interests, not matching the preference of the student.
Yes. Yes.
So
I see. I see
we
your
may not
comment.
even bring that.
Yes, I see. Or the teacher might not have any available, as you said. Yes, I understand. I understand. Okay. Okay, طيب. So you need a more general one. Okay, طيب, inshallah. So I'll give that, inshallah.
Yeah. Correct. Correct.
Okay. Okay, inshallah. So I will
Okay,
update the
inshallah.
text, inshallah.
Okay. Okay, ya akhi. That's all, ya. Alhamdulillah.
Okay, barakallah fiik.
Barakallah. Jazakallah khair for your time.
Okay.
Assalamu alaikum. Take
Assalamu
care.
alaikum.